All right, here for round one, and our hand is mostly blanks, but I think I like this hand, actually. We have 2 Temples to Scry, we have a Caryatid, and we don't really need much help. You know, if we draw a Satyr Wayfinder, that'd be great. If we draw a Courser, that'd be great. If we draw a Siege Rhino, just like, there's so many cards that make this hand good, and we have 2 Scries, and like a Caryatid to block, so I think we're in there. And our opponent starts with Temple of Mystery, which is either some weirdo brew or a Sidisi deck that has, you know, like one of Temple or something. Okay, so we have a Courser. That's a great start. And Murderous Cut is almost certainly going to be pretty good here. He could be a Teamer deck or he could be a Sidisi deck, so I can't really see putting this on the bottom. We don't have a ton of ways to fill our graveyard as of yet, but I am hopeful for the future. You know, we'll see what happens. And I don't have too much to do with my mana right now, so even if I have to pay basically the full price, it's not that big of a deal. So Polluted Delta seems like a Sidisi deck, and this should be a good round 1 matchup to get started with, because a lot of people are just like, you know, why play Abzan when Sultai is favored? And that's a hell of a question. That's a good question. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that the way my deck is configured, I'm pretty good against the Sidisi decks, but we'll see. So he's floating blue, blue, black, and he just has the main deck Ashiok. So, again, that is certainly a problem card. And we will see what happens. We'll see if I can actually beat this. Just exile a couple lands for me, which is certainly fine. And this is where I would really want a Rhino to actually start attacking that Ashiok, but I just have this, you know, dopey little 2/4 that can't attack through his Caryatid. So, definitely do not need this land. Don't really need that other Hornet Queen either, considering we drew one, and also considering this deck generally has 4 Doomwake Giants, so we kind of just want to side out the Hornet Queens in this matchup anyway. So I would not expect... Well, I guess he's going to Ashiok me, so I guess, maybe I should have, like, kept the Citadel on top so that, like, he would have to mill it, and then, like, that's one less shot at him hitting an actual creature, but he could also do some crazy stuff like just not activate Ashiok and have me draw bad cards, so I think scrying to the bottom there was a good idea. And now he's got the Sidisi and the Ashiok. So his draw lines up really, really well against ours. I really wish the cards that Ashiok hit went to the graveyard, because then I could Murderous Cut this stupid Sidisi, but, you know, what are you going to do? Alright, so I have the Wayfinder, so we can cut on the cheap. This deck has a lot of Courser interaction, where, like, right now I could play Windswept Heath. I could shuffle away my top card, but generally, you want the Windswept Heath to stay in play, and you want to use your mana on things like Satyr Wayfinder. So I'm going to get this thing out there, probably cut his Sidisi, and then attack his Ashiok, which is probably just going to kill his zombie. So we have an Utter End on top, but again, you know, probably not going to get to keep that one. So I think I am just going to cut his Sidisi, and then play my fetch land, so I actually have that in play. And then depending on what he mills over with Ashiok, like my top card, I could just shuffle it away during my upkeep if I don't want it. But yeah, presumably he could just make Hornet Queen this turn. I think that's what he's going to do. It can be kind of risky against a deck with Doomwake Giant, but also maybe he's just better like milking this Ashiok for more, so I don't know. Because like if he makes Hornet Queen, then I get to draw Utter End also, so I'm not sure if that's something that he wants me to do. So if he's not going to make Hornet Queen, I could see him taking this and not throwing away his zombie. Yeah, okay. So I think that's actually good for me, though. Because given my hand, I don't really want him to just make Hornet Queen right here. I feel like I'd be a little bit behind. So, trying to fight this uphill battle against this Ashiok. Certainly pretty tough. Depends what our opponent has here, too. I mean, if he has a good follow-up, like another Sidisi or something, could be in a lot of trouble. And we're also just, like, getting milled out very quickly. So, all of our whips are gone except for the one in our hand. So it would be nice if our opponent didn't have something like a Reclamation Sage that would kind of blow us out, and then we wouldn't have access to whip anymore for the rest of the game. And he has his own main deck Eidolon. Interesting. So I have a Windswept Heath on top. I certainly don't want to draw that, so I guess I'm just going to bust my Heath end of turn. Make sure I actually have lands to fetch, I guess. Be kind of silly if I just cracked my Heath and had nothing to get, and it would set me back a turn. And just another land on top anyway, so it doesn't really change much. Kind of unfortunate. Could really use some action. And again, I'm just going to attack into his Ashiok because I'd be fine trading with his Eidolon. If he wants to double block, he might be scared of Doomwake Giant, so he might not block with Caryatid. But I guess if I was trying to sell Doomwake Giant, I should attack with the Satyr Wayfinder, but I think that's an easy block for the zombie. And I don't think I want to throw away the Wayfinder just yet. I can probably do that next turn. So in order to get that hit in, I had to not play Whip, because otherwise he could just block with Caryatid, and I'd much rather kill a zombie than gain 2 life. So now things don't look as strange when I play a post-combat Whip. This game is certainly not going well, though. Ashiok just ends up being this huge issue. Certainly have ways to kill it, but, you know, gotta actually draw them. It's kind of an important part. Who knows, though? Maybe this Hornet Queen just goes the distance. Maybe he just doesn't have Doomwake in his deck. Maybe he's just a crazy person. Yeah, so 2 downfalls and an utter end gone. So unless I establish a really big board presence, this Ashiok is just gonna crush me. He's got his own Courser, draws it into an island, and then has another Eidolon on top. And has 3 cards. Could have went to 7 mana this turn, so could have potentially had a Hornet Queen, but might have just assumed that I have a Doomwake after that last turn there. And he fires off a Treasure Cruise, which is not good because I don't have a whole lot of action, and I certainly don't want him to have a bunch of action, so... Well, I should check to see if I have lands again. I should have checked that before I actually played the Heath, because I really want to play this Hornet Queen this turn. Yep, did have a land left. Perfect. Oh, no. That's actually the worst. Have a Reclamation Sage on top, and he's going to be able to Ashiok it. So, hopefully that does not happen somehow. If he blocks my Wayfinder, I might just have to whip it this turn. If he blocked it to kill it, I mean. But yeah. He wisely does not kill my Wayfinder. And we just make bees. And then we're done. Because we have nothing else. Meanwhile, our opponent is just having all the fun in the world. So it's pretty easy to turtle up in these matchups. You just like hide behind Caryatid, hide behind Courser, and then if you have something going like Eidolon or Johnny, or in his case Ashiok, it can be really tough. Oh, right. He has my Doomwake Giant. Heh. But that means I get to draw my Sage, so that's fine. But, geez. Very hateful deck. Did kill my Hornet Queen, though. But has Pharika. So, I can Sage the Doomwake, so he can't kill my Death Touchers. But I'm still going to lose this Pharika. Well, now he's just tapping out. So this is kind of weird. Yeah, he's doing basically all the things that you want to be doing in these matchups. So he came prepared. He is ready. Does it matter if I play this Urborg? Yeah, it might help our opponent a little bit. And we're okay. We're doing okay on black manas. So I don't really think I can win this game, but his clock is in a very precarious position. And given that these games generally go pretty long, I feel like I might be able to time him out, and clearly that's not an avenue to victory in real life, but on Magic Online, it's a different game. You know, you gotta play to your outs, as it were, and in real life, it may have just benefited me to concede to ensure that I had time to win games 2 and 3. But this ain't real life, so we get to keep playing Magic, sort of. And my opponent has 7 cards, and just the World's Fair. You know, Pharika, Eidolon, Courser's going, Whip on top of his deck, but maybe he just can't beat my Whip and my Bees? I don't know. We'll see what happens. I felt like him letting me Whip that turn was probably a mistake. He should have just kept open Pharika mana, but now he's got a Doomwake on top of his deck, so I'm probably dead. Now I'm just going to see how long I can hold on. Basically just how much time can I get off of his clock. Because, yeah, that might be my best path to victory, even though it's not wholly satisfying or anything. It just is what it is, you know, Magic Online. Just lets you win that way, so I'm going to take it. That's my plan. It's probably just time him out. Okay, so he's attacking with Pharika. I can chump with Sage to have... But I guess if he... Well, he's going to Doomwake me next turn, so I'm going to want to block here. To get my block on now while I can, because my Sage is going to die next turn. And there's a downfall. It's pretty late. Send some bees at Ashiok. Get another little life buffer here. And I guess I should have whipped the Wayfinder and attacked him to gain the life, but I don't think there's anything I really want to whip into at this point. Like, I can hit an Eidolon of my own, which might allow me to come back somehow. Or at least, like, stay on parity, you know? Not, like, full parity, but... Oh, I guess he has Farika to get my Sage. Yeah. There's so much that goes on in these matchups. So I'm not going to be able to kill his Doomwake. He's going to Doomwake me this turn. Okay. So, just to do stuff, basically, I'm whipping back my Wayfinder. And then maybe he just won't Farika me. So now we have a Rhino to whip next turn. That should give us some more life. But yeah, definitely should have done that first and then attacked with it to gain the extra life. Okay, so he's going to play Whip. It's kind of strange. I would expect him to play Doomwake. But I guess he doesn't have to. Seeing as how he has Whip and he can just gain like 20 life a turn. So he's not in any real danger. He's just going to Whip Doomwake. That makes sense too. Slightly better to Doomwake first, then cast Whip, have 2 Doomwake triggers next turn. Next turn he can Whip the Doomwake, have 2 triggers, make a Snake, have another trigger. But I think he can still make a Snake this turn. If he exiles his Sidisi. These games go on for forever. Actual forever. Yeah, you guys saw that Hornet Queen basically did nothing here, right? Like, eventually he finds a Doomwake Giant and it just, like, kills all my bees. So I'd rather not have this expensive card. Yeah, I think right now he just wants to keep open Farika. Man, if I had my own Farika, maybe I could deck him with Eidolon. Yeah, I think he just wanted to keep open Farika so I couldn't Sage his Whip or his Doomwake that he played. So now he's playing kind of safe. And he just lets me Sage his Whip. Kind of weird, but I don't remember if he has another one or not, but it really doesn't matter because he's just beating me with what's on board anyway, but he should certainly be not letting me get these advantages, you know? Again, doesn't really matter. We're just kind of playing out the game to eat up some time here. But it is actually just really hard to close these games where, like, my opponent's basically crushing me, you know? He's, like, drawing as many cards per turn as he wants. He has, like, Sidisi, Whip, he has Doomwake, all this stuff going on, but it's, like, really hard to actually put me away. So, I can't actually win the game, right? But I can hold on for a little bit if I want to. It's just kind of silly. It's just, like, the nature of all these defensive cards. Another Ashiok, sure. What is that, number 3? Or 2? I don't even know. Alright, so I can't whip and play a Hornet Queen. So I guess I'll just whip this Siege Rhino. And then going into game 2, he's going to have 10 minutes to beat me in out of 2 games. Because, like, if I win game 2, there's almost no way he's winning the match, assuming I keep on parity with him. Time-wise. Like, I have a time advantage, and I have to keep it. Oh, he has 3 treasure cruises. Alright. And it looks like no Hornet Queens. Which is fine. You don't need them. They are really good in certain matchups, though. Alright. Hornet Queen, you stink. You just die. Get out of here. Farika, you're great. Reclamation Sage, you're great. Eidolons, Johnnies, and Utter End. So, now we're at 64 cards. Doomwakes are not great here. Like, if you assemble 2 Doomwake triggers late, it can be pretty good. You can clear out all their zombies. In this guy's case, all his Eidolons. But he doesn't have the Hornet Queens, it didn't look like. So, I'm not too concerned about having Doomwakes in my deck. That'll be like my end game where I just set up multiple triggers with Farika, like that type of thing. So, I could see cutting a Caryatid, but I really want to get off to a fast start here. I want to play a turn 3 Eidolon or Siege Rhino. I want to play a Johnny when the board is relatively clear. So, I want to keep in all my Caryatids. And now I have to cut one more card. I have 7 spot removal spells. So maybe that's a little high. Alternatively, I could just cut a Rhino because I don't know. Maybe I can give him the beatdowns with the Rhino, I guess. I definitely want to have that avenue available to me. Just like play a Rhino, kill all his stuff, kill him. But I think it's fine. Going up to more 4s, so I think cutting Rhino is okay. It seems like the worst card, because I need 2 Doomwakes for like that end game push with Farika, I think. I could cut a Caryatid, but I really want to try and get a free win here, so we can go to game 3 when he has no time on his clock. So I wish this hand had a second land. I would just immediately snap it off, because it has a bunch of awesome cards. This hand's reasonable. I don't have the 4-drop that I wanted, but I do have Caryatid into a Johnny with Sage to play defense. I don't have an answer to Ashiok or Sidisi, so if he has any of those, I could be in trouble, but he did mulligan to 5, so this might be a quick game. Yeah, I'm going to save the Windswept Heath for potential courser interactions. It's generally pretty good to just save your fetches. In this case, like, you certainly run the risk of going like Wayfinder turn over 3/4 in a Plains, but odds of that happening are not very high. So just play Wayfinder first. So if I hit an ETB tap land, I can play it like a Temple. That'd be great. But hit a tri-land, that's also fine. Now we're just going to go to a Johnny Town. I think that's the best spot to be. He might have an Ashiok. Nope, just a Courser. So Thoughtseize on top. I guess, like, I'm just going to play this Ajani out. And plus to dig, I think, because I could use some more gas. Another option is to just, like, pump my Wayfinder and attack him for 4, but I don't know. This is interesting. feel like with him super low on cards, I can probably just grind him out. I don't need to, you know, try and get aggressive, really. Just try and find another thing so that I'm better against his Thoughtseize. In theory, I also could have put my Wayfinder to try to block, but if I was going to put my Wayfinder, I would just attack him. So now he's got 2 coursers. He's going to Thoughtseize me. I assume he's going to take my Sage, because that seems like the best card here, yeah. So now, I have the option of trying to find a thing to play or trying to pump my guy, and I think I just want to find a thing to play. I've carried to block one of these coursers, so my Johnny's not dying this turn, and yeah, we find a Siege Rhino, and he's only got 2 cards left, so we're starting to just grind him out. Our plan is working perfectly, although him mulling to 5 certainly helped along our plan, but I think our draw was still pretty reasonable. That even if he was on 7, we might be able to still win. So he's got a whip, but nothing to do with it, and only 1 card left. Murderous Cut on top, which I don't really care about. Oh, now we just start going ham, I guess. Courser, play my land. We just get to start manipulating the top of our deck. Find a Sage. Do I want to kill his whip or a Courser? It's definitely a question. I'll just kill the whip. I could imagine a scenario where I could potentially lose when he has a whip in play, but not really any scenarios when I'm just facing down 2 coursers. So that seems like the safest one to kill. I was gonna say there's certainly some merit to just like not progressing the game really, and just making it so he doesn't concede because he only has 8 minutes left, and I kind of want to get more time off his clock. So just like, oh, maybe I don't attack with the Rhino, maybe I don't Reclamation Sage something, you know, because it's like I'm in such a commanding position, but I'll play straight up with the timer as my backup plan. So now that I'm on the draw, how are we feeling? Do I still want the Rhino? Or do I want the Rhino? Do I want the 4th one? I kind of want it. I just don't know what else. I feel like everything else is pretty important going along. And then kind of wanted to make sure Sidisi doesn't get out of control, so he can't just, you know, keep attacking me, but I have a bunch of removal spells too, so I don't know. Magic is hard. Magic is hard. So it might actually be the second Utter End that should not be in my deck, and then I could just keep the Rhino in, and everything would be all nice. Nice and neat little sideboard plan. One option is signing up to 61. I do not recommend that. That is generally a bad idea. Alright, 3 Rhinos. Fine. So this hand is what I would refer to as mono air, but as you can see, I'm keeping it. I have a bunch of acceleration and a Wayfinder to go with my Murderous Cut, and I drew an Eidolon, so that's great. This is pretty close to a perfect hand. He's off to a pretty slow start with his Evolving Wilds. And I plan on just going Caryatid into Eidolon. Starting to draw some cards. Save the Heath and the Wayfinder for when I draw a Courser, or, you know, the Wayfinder if I need to cut. Well, he just jams Ashiok, and now we have to play this game. Huh. Well, we do have Courser. But now I think I have to play the Heath because he took a damage from his Llanowar Waste, so I think he's short on black. So I don't want to play this Urborg because it would probably help him more than it helps me. So I'm down a shuffle effect for the Courser, but I'm not too concerned about it. It's never really a necessity, right? It's just something that is nice if you have. It's not like you need to do a ton of work to make Courser great. He just kind of is. So now what's going on? This Eidolon lives, I'll be pretty happy. But yeah, he's just gonna Sage it off the Ashiok. Probably pretty smart. Just gotta make sure he defends, make sure I don't draw a bunch of cards. Yeah, Ashiok is one of those things where, like, because it's easy to get ahead, but it's not easy to actually close the game. Like, you can hang on for a long time. Like, Ashiok sticks around for forever. So I really need to draw a Hero's Downfall. Or get another Eidolon or a Johnny type thing back online. So would have certainly preferred to not have to play this Urborg, but I think I do. Then he's going to Ashiok away my whip. Could have used that. Would have been nice. Nice little thing to have. Still not sure if he can kill me in 6 minutes, but we'll see. Ashiok does some work. Ooh, and I have a Sage on top. Doesn't help me too much. Do get to start hitting him with this Courser, though, which is good. So, Doomwake on top, don't really need that. So, I'll Wayfinder this stuff away. Got me a temple. Put some fatties in the yard. And I am just going to Sage the Courser. Try and knock this Ashiok down a peg. And if somehow he's able to play Sidisi next turn, I don't see how, because he has a Sidisi on top. I could just cut it. And like he could -2 Ashiok with Wayfinder, put Wayfinder into play, find a land, play Sidisi. So if he does that, if that's his plan, I don't want to draw the Satyr Wayfinder, really. I need some action, so I'm going to put this on the bottom. And that gives him an actual choice as to what he has to do with Ashiok. He can't just, it's not like a free roll for him to put Satyr Wayfinder in play, because now I'm going to draw a Courser, which is actually a reasonable body on this board. Yeah, so X -2. Get the Wayfinder, digging for the land. And I honestly hope he hits. But he just bricks. I mean, like, I guess that's also good, but if he was going to invest his turn into playing Sidisi and I was able to just cut it down, that would also be good for me. But now I think he just gets the Treasure Cruise, so... And he just, like, immediately went to exile the Farika, which I was surprised about. But, yeah, he undid that. I was like, nah, man, you can bring that back. You can whip that back and actually do some work. You probably want that. Alright, 4 minutes. 4 minutes and he is dead. Let's see if we can do it. Thoughtseize. What a jerk. So, response to Thoughtseize, we just have to cut his Sage. Don't really care if he takes this Caryatid, because it's whatever. One of those Caryatids certainly could have been a Rhino. That would have been great. And we have a downfall on top, but he probably just gets to Ashiok it. I think he has a Murderous Cut. So this Wayfinder does not have to attack Ashiok. It could attack him, but if he goes Block Sage, Cut Courser, I want to deal Ashiok the extra damage. Yep. Yep, so Courser dies. Get to hit his Ashiok for 1. And now he just gets to, like, untap and play Sidisi. So I'm in not a great spot. Because he also gets to Ashiok away my hero's downfall. So we need a pretty big draw next turn. Whip would be good, but I don't have 8 mana, so I can't play it and immediately use it like I would want to. And I'm just drawing a land anyway. So, Ashiok versus Courser, pretty good. Be curious to see if he can actually deal me 20 damage in 3 minutes. But also has Ashiok going, and I have 30 cards, so... This game is not going how I want it to. How is he able to hold on? Part of the problem was that I drew a bunch of nothings. I drew these Sylvan Caryatids, and if one was a business spell, then maybe we'd be able to do something. And he just always Ashioks my spell and leaves me with a land. It's not very nice. I think I have to keep that downfall on top. And he just did it again. He took my spell and left me with a land. This is silly. Yeah, I think I had to keep the downfall on top to make it so he couldn't, like, just put in Eidolon and start going nuts. But obviously that's, like, not even a draw that helps me out in the scenario. Yeah, now I have a whip on top. Just gotta take that. Alright, so we have a Johnny on top. I'm not sure if that actually does enough. It's a little too late at this point. Prognostic Sphinx? WTF? just a casual Sphinx coming from the trees. So if I play a Johnny, I'll have 4 mana left over, and that'll be enough for a Rhino. I won't have enough for Doomwake Giant unless I hit a land in, either the top or the top after the 4. I do have a Doomwake still, right? I do. But I think that's better because I can't just keep taking a bunch of damage too, so... There's Farika. That would kind of help. I guess I have 3 shots to look at lands. And I think... So if I go block, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can pump my guys to make them... Not just have to chump block through Doomwake, but I don't think that helps me because I won't be able to kill his guys. So I think I just take this Farika. Untap land. Beautiful. Fortunately, Farika is 1 short of being online. Which I guess might have been a concern with blocking with the Caryatid. I'd be at 9 life, but I'd have a Caryatid and a Farika. Or except, no, I could have just blocked a zombie. So I'd be at 11 life and have a Farika. Huh. So now we have to float a green here. Happening. There we go. Might be more effort than it's worth to attack with Prognostic Sphinx there. 30 seconds left. Can we do it? We have 2 blockers. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, we're dead. We're just dead. We need 1 more turn. Ah, 26 seconds left. Brutal. Brutal. I mean, like, he rightfully crushed me. So, deserves the win and all that, but it's like you gotta play at a real pace, but that's always sad. 20 seconds left. Man.